What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Ladies and gentlemen, the Detroit Pistons got their coach. We're going live. We're going to talk all about it. What is going on, but everybody? Welcome to a emergency episode from Half Court. I am your host, Sean Murphy. And ladies and gentlemen, the wait was worth it. The Detroit Pistons have their coach. Monty Williams is coming to Detroit. All the conversation of, oh, well, Monty clearly didn't want to coach in Detroit. He clearly didn't like what he was seeing with Cade Cunningham and the Pistons. Where's that conversation? Where's this conversation about this coaching search being a mess, being a nightmare, having no organization, having no ideas? Seems like there was a plan to me. Now let's talk about it. Monty Williams, for those that might not be aware, because people might be going, all right, we got our coach. We got a guy who was just let go from the Phoenix Suns. Why should I be excited? Monty Williams is the winningest coach in the NBA since 2021. He has multiple years experience with the likes of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, is one of the most respected coaches in basketball, is one of the most respected minds in basketball, helped the Phoenix Suns transform their team, get them to 34 wins in his first season, make that run in the bubble where they went 10-0, and then eventually the next year went to the finals. This is a guy that can take your team to the next level and stay and keep competing in high pressure situations. This is an awesome hire. Absolute freaking home run, man. Unbelievable. I am freaking over the moon. I tweeted before this news even broke, like we knew today that the Pistons were getting ready to make a big money offer, right? I literally tweeted, Monty Williams is my favorite coach in basketball, man. I tweeted that in 9:43. Shams broke the news at about 9:55. So within 15 minutes of me tweeting that about how he's literally my favorite coach in the NBA, he's now coming to Detroit. Now, first of all, we got to give credit here to a few people. Number one, and this is the obvious one, Tom Gores for opening up the checkbook. Because not only will this make Monty Williams the highest paid coach in basketball, this will make him the highest paid coach in the history of basketball. A 6-year deal. That is a commitment from your franchise. That is emphatically saying, we want you. You are our guy. What did I say at the beginning of this search on Woodward Pistons Table Talk to those that were listening? If you're going to go shark hunting, go get the big shark. If you're going to go big game hunting, don't come back with a little bass. Come back with Jaws. And this man just came back with the entire Jaws franchise, man. I mean, if you want to know like where he is honestly in the litany of best coaches in the game of basketball, I mean, number one's Eric Spoelstra. He's earned that. You got to put Mike Malone somewhere in there. I mean, just got his team to the finals. Monty Williams is right there. Ty Lue, you can throw him in there too, but Monty Williams is very much in the conversation. Tom Gores opened the checkbook. He made the big commitment, but also it wouldn't have been possible without the relationships had by Troy Weaver. It wouldn't be possible without the organization having the program that it's built, to have the talent that it has, because that's how you attract a coach like Monty Williams. Not only is it the culture, the things that you set in place, but in addition, it's the talent that you have. And ladies and gentlemen, let's just start peeling back what this means. Monty Williams is going to have access to Cade Cunningham. Not only that, Monty Williams is going to have access to Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey. Man, you talk about Monty Williams in the relationship he had with DeAndre Ayton. You know who he's not going to have those problems with at all? Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren. In fact, I think Monty Williams not only looks at the payday, but also at the talent on board, and I think says he has a legitimate chance to build something special here. This is by no means leaving a Phoenix situation for a consolation. In fact, I think he has a chance to do something special here. I mean, this isn't just a home run hire. This is a grand slam hire. This is the quintessential, like, you got him to turn around, change his mind, come back into the fold. This guy wasn't in the conversation with the 76ers. This guy wasn't in the conversation with the Milwaukee Bucks. There were the best teams in basketball that had coaching openings. And Monty Williams is coming to Detroit. Now, what does this mean for the expectations for next year? Well, first of all, change is coming. One thing, like as far as the system of our team, the different things, schematically, Jack Kelly tweeted about this earlier, about the potential of, like, offensively, what we could look like and some of the different things that we could do. And Monty Williams has an offense. It's called the 0.5 offense. And what it means is once you get the ball in your hands, you have to make a decision in 0.5 seconds of if you're shooting it, if you're passing it, what you're doing with the ball. And if you could bring that decisiveness to Detroit, especially with naturally gifted playmakers, basketball minds with the likes of Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham, and then you talk about the fact that this team now has cap space, they have a top 5 pick to work with where you could totally trade and make something legitimate happen. I mean, guys, one thing is for sure. We got our guy. And with all due respect to Charles Lee, to Kevin Ali, to anyone else that was in the coaching conversation, this was the surefire guy. When you look at everything that the Pistons were looking for this offseason, Troy Weaver said we're looking for discipline, we're looking for development, we're looking for defense. That's Monty Williams to a T. He's playoff experience. He's battle tested. He's been around some of the best players in the game. He has previous experience in Oklahoma City with Troy Weaver. And on top of that, you now think about the fact that we're going to have in one building, in the front office alone, you're going to have John Beilein, you're going to have Dwayne Casey. But then on top of that, you're having Monty Williams come into your coaching staff and take over. I mean, the potential, man. The potential. Can we trade the number 5 pick for TJ McConnell? If you're trading the number 5 pick for TJ McConnell, anyway, guys, I mean, first of all, I think the vibes of Pistons Twitter are going to very quickly flip. I know it's been a very down couple of months, but what have we said after the lottery? When you don't get luck, you make your own luck. And this is exactly what the Pistons did. There were the reports that the Pistons were considering to make a big money offer when, if they won the lottery and got Victor Wembanyama. They did it regardless. They decided, you know what? We're going to get our guy. We're going to get our franchise coach. And I mean, this is perfect because, I mean, you talk about a guy that's ready for just about any phase, any situation, a guy who's experienced, a guy who's relatable to players. I just can't speak enough about the good things about Monty Williams. And you talk about, I mean, yes, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Dwayne Casey and the things that he's done with the organization and, what he was able to do in his time as the coach. But man, Monty is just that guy. And I think when you talk about a guy who's both able to help develop players, like we talk all the time about, like people are talking about, we don't need a motivator, we need an X's and O's coach. This feels like the best of both worlds. This is a guy who is great with his players, is a great players coach, but at the same time, this guy knows his ball. Absolute home run, man. Brinks truck for Monty, huge investment in the future. Absolutely, Chuck. Not only is this saying that they're confident in Monty Williams, this is saying that they're confident with the talent that they have in house. This is saying that we feel confident that we could take a next step. And Troy Weaver promised they knew it was time to take a next step. This is not a hire that says, oh, yeah, we're just waiting around. We're going to sit in the middle. I mean, they're giving him time. They're giving him the luxury to be able to actually develop this over time. I mean, 6 years with the potential. I mean, from what Shams and from what James Edwards are reporting, which, by the way, shout out to Shams, shout out to James Edwards III for incredible reporting, for immaculate detail, for everything that we're learning. I mean, absolute shout out. But let me read the full report. Let's read the tweets from Shams. Let's break down everything that's happening with Monty Williams trade. But first, if you're here, be sure you like this video. Be sure you subscribe to the channel so you're not missing any of the coverage that we're going to be having, because, ladies and gentlemen, the Pistons are mother back. I'm so excited. Alec, good to see you. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing Monty coming into the organization? Alec, I love that you don't know anything about basketball, but you're trying anyway. To answer your question, the biggest challenge facing Monty coming into the organization day one is the youth, is the lack of experience, is the fact that Cade and Ivy don't have much time next to each other. The fact that this is one of the youngest rosters in the league. There could be some potential roster turnover this upcoming offseason. A lot of things still have to be determined. A lot of groundwork still has to be laid. So to answer your question, I mean, Monty's not coming in with an easy job, but at the same time, that's why you went and got Monty Williams. That's why you went and got a top 3, top 5 coach in the National Basketball Association. That's why you went and made that swing. Now let me read the full tweet. Breaking. Monty Williams and the Detroit Pistons have agreed in principle on a 6-year, $72 million deal for Williams to become the franchise's new head coach, sources tell me, and James Edwards III. The deal is expected to be finalized in the coming days. Massive salary commitment and a major coup in recruiting the 2022 NBA Coach of the Year to provide a fresh leader and culture to a talented young Detroit roster. Pistons owner Tom Gores and GM Troy Weaver led an aggressive pursuit of Williams that intensified in recent days. Monty Williams' Pistons deal could reach 8 years and $100 million based on team options and incentives. Sources tell me and James Edwards III. Man. My guy, Ashton, y'all got to be partying right now, man, because I know I am. This is freaking amazing. I mean, congratulations, man. We are up this year, man. If not 6th seed, we're fighting for the play-in, man. And I mean, a play-in team made it to the finals this year. I'll just say. I mean, I'm kidding. I'm not expecting that at all. But let's be honest. Things are looking up here in Detroit. We are far more respected. I mean, championship coach. You couldn't say it any better, Ashton. This guy's legit. Absolute legit. I mean, I'm losing my voice. I'm freaking out. I gotta get some liquid in my system. Doug McMenamin writes, this tells me the Pistons are serious about competing. 2 coaches of the year leading this organization is beyond joyous. I mean, guys, this shows, Tom Gores has been committed on getting the right guy in-house ever since he took over. There were some mistake coaching hires at the beginning. There were the times where the Pistons hired the likes of Mo Cheeks, Lawrence Frank, a lot of guys where you had questions about their genuine long-term nature and what they can actually do with this team. There's no questions with Monty Williams. The only questions are how high you can fly, how good you can go, how much you can do. Absolutely not. I'm about to be late for work tomorrow, dude. I forgot I have work tomorrow, man. I forgot there's anything else other than this, to be honest with you. But, and here's the other thing. You said it right here. Say what you will about Gores, but he's willing to spend. There is no salary cap on an NBA coach. There's no limit. There's no minimum. There's no telling you what you have to do in order to go get a coach. In the fact that after one of our worst records in franchise history with guys sitting out due to injury, I mean, this shows how much they believe in Cade Cunningham as well, man, because a lot of reason to, by the way. But, a guy who's been out for the season, dealing with injury issues, Cade and Ivy haven't had much chance to play together. They don't care. They see the vision, man, and they're pushing it. They're pushing the chips in. We're taking it to the next level, man. It's going to be incredible. And he's going to be in house for quite some time. He's going to be in Detroit for at least 6 years. And I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I understand, like at first it was like, well, like, by the way, I fully believe this. Ashton ain't hyping this up. I fully believe this. He's in the gym, y'all. I saw a lot of people asking about his status. Ashton, I'm sure you know a little better than I do. But Cade's in the gym. He's putting in work. He's going to be ready to go when the season starts, man. And I mean, we've heard guys like KD, players who played under Monty Williams, say Cade's that guy. And I mean, we've all watched Cade. We've all seen the shades of Chris Paul. We've all seen the shades of Devin Booker. We've all seen the star that this guy can be. You give that guy Monty Williams. Oh, wait. I mean, that is just, I don't know what else you can ask for, man. I really don't. And as far as what this means, as far as like moves going forward, I mean, first of all, one thing for sure now, Detroit has a unified front. Not just, not just in ownership, not just in the front office, from the top down, from ownership to front office to the coaching staff. This shows faith in everyone that's here, but also these are people that are unified in a mission and in a vision. And the fact that they went and made that swing, they've been on this pursuit, they showed this faith, and they landed their guy. There's that history. They know each other. They know exactly what they want to build, but also the fact that we have done enough, we have built enough to get Monty Williams to this point. Let's make it clear, guys. He's not just signing this contract because it's going to make him the highest paid coach in basketball. He's signing this contract because there's a lot of tantalizing things here from a basketball standpoint. If this was Charlotte giving the same offer, he's not picking up the phone. I'm just saying. I mean, ESPN not even reporting. I mean, the thing about that, Doug, I'm sure ESPN is going to put something out eventually. But the thing about it is, which, by the way, Woj did just tweet it, Monty Williams has agreed to a 6-year, $78.5 million contract to the Detroit Pistons. It is the largest coaching deal in NBA history. It was confirmed. It's just Shams and James had it first. These guys have to go out and confirm and corroborate, and figure out if that's actually true. Now, that's saying Shams got to it first. That's really the reality of it. But with all that being said, man, I mean, at this point, I mean, you talk about who the Pistons could add in the draft. I mean, honestly, dude, now you're going to have a guy like Monty Williams in there that's going to be able to have some input. And that's what I'm saying from that unified front. I think they're going to be able to come in with a vision, with a mission, with a plan, and with plenty of time until the draft. I'm interested to see how much of a voice Monty has in player in personnel decisions, how much they really work hand in hand, and how much that unity is really going to help. Because I think you saw a lot in Phoenix that Monty Williams' tenure as the coach of the Suns, I think was really limited by some of the issues that they were facing in-house, by the Robert Sarver situation, by the fact that there was, multiple situations where they were being strung financially, where, there were other issues happening within the locker room. And I think the fact that, Troy Weaver has been so intentional about not only getting the right players in the locker room, but getting the right people, Like, you're not gonna have players like DeAndre Ayton where you're gonna have to be egging them on for effort. With all due respect, like, Jalen Duren is ready to go. Isaiah Stewart is ready to go. You don't have to tell Cade Cunningham it's time to go to work. Jaden Ivey isn't showing up not ready for game time. I mean, you look at this roster from the top down, I'm just saying, man, these guys all could stand the benefit in working with Monty Williams. But also, I mean, I'm just saying, this makes your case as a free agent destination just a little bit stronger. I understand people look at Detroit strictly in a vacuum and say, well, Detroit's not a free agent destination. Are you telling me people aren't going to look at the basketball fit and see all the young talent in house? Monty Williams, the commitment that they just made, the new arena that they have right in the middle of downtown, all the energy and momentum that's behind this franchise, even if they didn't get the number one overall pick. This is another form of winning the jackpot, of striking gold. I mean, we didn't get Victor Wembanyama this offseason, but I mean, guys, this is the next best thing. I am telling you what. You go out and we talked about how important of a hire this was, how you need to go and get the right guy. If you were to make the definition of the right guy for this Pistons locker room, for this Pistons organization, for the personnel in-house, the dictionary would just show you a picture of Monty Williams because he is everything this team needs and more. I mean, I am over the freaking moon right now. Weaver works his magic trading pieces to get a starting 3, and the 5 pick is a bench player year 1 with the potential to become a starter. I mean, listen, man, you talk about the fact that the Pistons could really make some aggressive moves if they want to now. I mean, Monty could say, hey, I'm signed for 6 years, but hey, I'm ready to get this going. Let's start competing now. I don't see why he wouldn't want to feel that way, why he wouldn't want to raise the bar in Detroit. See if we can get over the 30-win mark at the very least in his first season. I want to know, what is your guys' expectations now that the Pistons have hired Monty Williams? Let me know in the chat. What are your expectations now that the Pistons have Monty Williams? I mean, would that not look pretty sweet? Listen, all I'm saying, and Ashton, if you're still here, I want you to tell me if I'm crazy for this one, but all I'm saying, I mean, Denver is a team that we've been able to see how they're able to change their style of play with the personnel that they have because of how dominant Jokic is. I think the Pistons could potentially do the same with Cade at some point. And let me tell you, man, I have been awfully enticed with the idea of the Pistons potentially being able to throw out a Cade Cunningham, Jeremy Grant, Jarris Walker, Isaiah Stewart, and Jalen Duren lineup. If those guys can stretch the floor and shoot the 3, tell me that isn't a defensive nightmare. Tell me that isn't going to swallow teams up in the zone. Tell me that doesn't have a potential to destroy teams on both sides of the ball. I mean, I'm just saying. And I mean, it would really depend on Isaiah Stewart and Jarris Walker's ability both to shoot the 3. But I mean, come on now. Didn't we think that Grant held back Cunningham? I think what we thought was we wondered how he fit the timeline. And I think what we saw when Grant left was how much you can use that type of guy on a day-to-day basis. How important it is to get a 3-and-D wing, a guy who can put up 20 plus points a game on high efficiency and can score the basketball if need be. I think, Jeremy Grant running as the first option was something that we were worried about maybe holding back Cade Cunningham. But I mean, a situation where he gets to come in and, I mean, I'm just saying. I think Jeremy Grant back in Detroit, especially with the fact that it sounds like the Portland Trailblazers are going to want to go get an elite wing of some form. I mean, I don't know what they're going to be able to get with that number 3 overall pick, but All I'm saying, I mean, there's options out there. There's options. And listen, I'm just saying, it's gonna look awfully nice. After the All-Star break that season, Cade, Bay, and Ivy all played masterfully together. They really did. Like, if you actually watch, like, towards the end of the season, especially as, like, Cade really, like, began to, like, take his form, and they were really figuring out what his role was within the grand scheme of things, I think, yeah, I can't stop thinking this as well, Marcel. They done up, man. They done screwed up. Montanog! We did it! We did it, my guy! Monty Williams is in Detroit, dude. we, we beat the Kevin Ollie alligator. I'm just gonna be nice and say, yeah, man. Dude, we're just living it up, dude. I mean, look at us. Who would have thought? Not me, dude. I mean, oh my lord. Also, I just gotta say, man, 180 plus people in here right now. Thank you all so much for showing the love, for being in here, for all the energy, all the hype, all the conversation. Thank you all so much for being in here. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Who would have thunk it? Not me. Not me, man. So it's funny, dude. I literally like we recorded an episode of From Half Court the other day, which I was literally gonna get up today, but there's so much in the podcast now that has already just straight up just been undone because we talk about the coaching search. I talk about how, there was a possibility that maybe Monty Williams could still be a candidate, and Jeff and Troy were like, it's not happening, Sean. I highly doubt it. Well, here we are. Amazing how much things can change. And I mean, the fact too, and I guess, maybe this is more like speculation and just more of like a curiosity because it doesn't really matter at this point. The Pistons have their guy, but we did hear for so long how much Troy Weaver liked Kevin Ollie. We heard for quite a while that Kevin Ollie was the guy. And I mean, not only that, let's look into it, guys. I mean, this, like, not only did we think, like, as of a couple days ago, this was probably our coach. I mean, I'm talking literally yesterday, there were odds from Vegas that were telling us pretty much to expect Kevin Ollie. I mean, right here, this is from our guy, Rod Beard, which shout out Rod Beard. We love Rod Beard here. Well, look at this. Detroit Pistons next head coach, Kevin Ollie, 1-1. Charles Lee, 6-1. Jaron Collins, 8-1. Ime Udoka, who has a job already, 10-1. You notice a guy that's not on here, guys? You see a name that's not on there? They didn't even have Monty Williams on the list yesterday when we had reporting that said he could potentially still be the guy. First of all, this shows you how quickly things can change. Second of all, it tells you never can fully trust what you're reading anywhere. I mean, was this a smoke screen? Was this a genuine idea? Was this something that they were really exploring to do? Because, like, as James Edwards III reported at the beginning of this whole process, the Pistons were pretty enticed on the idea of what it would look like with Kevin Ollie as the head coach. I mean, man, I got to go through these super chats, these donations. I mean, guys, thank you all so much. Pepega Jones, my guy, let's go at the very beginning of the show, always showing the hype. Doug McMenamin, thanks for all the chats and for the support as well. In case cracked, who's with the Canada 279. Finally, keep up the energy. Pistons fans, let's go. We talk about this again, guys. I get the lottery was a bummer. I get it's devastating, but the best franchises in this league, they don't operate on luck. They make their own luck. The Miami Heat are in the NBA Finals all off of making their own luck. You could also argue that they're in the NBA Finals because of a lot of luck they had with their shot making and with a lot of things that went their way. But at the same time, they made their own luck. The Denver Nuggets, they made their own luck. Did some things go their way? Yes. Did a former second round pick somehow stumble into being one of the greatest passers and big men of all time? Yeah. But at the same time, they built around with guys like Michael Porter Jr., who they drafted 15th. They had guys like Mike Malone who could help lead this franchise and take it to the next level. They stuck with it and they were patient. And the fact that the Pistons are continuing to be patient, I mean, quite frankly, I know there were people that were saying, is this, if Troy Weaver on the hot seat this season? I don't know how a GM's on the hot seat after a hire like that with a confidence move like that. That's pretty confident in what you have going within house. Golly. Kevin can be our assistant head coach now. I don't know if it's quite as easy as that. I think you have to remember that guys like Kevin Ali, even though we wonder like where he's going to go next or what he's going to do. I mean, when you're in these types of conversations, you're not exactly quick to go, oh, okay, yeah, I'll just work for the guy that you went for instead. Like, I just don't think it exactly works like that. I also think you have to understand. I think you have to realize too that, like, I mean, if you're paying Monty Williams that much, he's going to pick who his coaching staff is. I mean, he's going to have a big say of who's going to be on that bench. And so that'll be interesting to see how many guys come over from Phoenix and his staff that he had there. I'm interested to see if they keep any of the guys from last year's staff. But I mean, the big thing, guys, is the guy who's going to be on that seat. And that's freaking Monty Williams, dude. As far as this goes now, I mean, we talked about it, man. This was the first step in the offseason. This sets the tone for the Pistons going forward. And man, this set the tone at a pretty high bar, guys. This set the tone at a really, really high bar. And when you talk about what happens next with the draft selection, do they trade it? Do they select at 5? Do they potentially try to move up? Do they try to move down? What do we do? And quite frankly, right now, I don't even care because whoever it is, Monty Williams is going to be coaching them, baby. And dude, I honestly, when the Pistons initially said that they were going to wait out this postseason and see which coaches would get fired, it never even occurred to me that Monty Williams could be an option. So, guys, who do we have to thank the most right now? Matt Ishbia, my guy. Thank you so much for the bed because you set us up for great success. I mean, this is just a gift. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you're pacing that slow, Adam. I'm already halfway there. Halfway there. No, but in all seriousness, I mean, man, I'm going crazy. But yeah, thanking the Suns. Dude, no, seriously, thank you. I'm going to give him flowers. I'll send chocolates to his house, man. You kidding me? It sounds like they might hire Kevin Young to replace him. If that's the case, we should all send flowers to United Wholesale Mortgage tomorrow. Seriously, order some pizzas, get some really nice things for the people in the lobby, get a nice card that we can all sign and say, hey, man, thanks for Monty. Thank you so much for Monty because we'll take it. I mean, yeah. Yeah. That says it pretty well too. I mean, thank you, DeAndre Ayton. Which, by the way, I said it before and I'll say it again. I think Monty Williams is going to be unbelievably refreshed when he goes from having to deal with DeAndre Ayton on a daily basis to being able to work with guys like Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren, who work their asses off each and every night. And I mean, on top of the upside that Duren has as well, you throw in a top tier coach like that right at the beginning of his career. I mean, just there's not a downside to this. There's not a how does this go wrong? I mean, this is as surefire of a hire as you can get, man. I mean, guys, this is a great night for the Pistons organization. I mean, guys, you think about Detroit, all four organizations in the leadership within these organizations, the coaching within these organizations. I mean, when have you been more confident in the landscape of these four teams, at least from a leadership standpoint? I mean, good Lord. I know this isn't their first time going and getting a coach of the year, but this is getting a guy who was in the finals 2 years ago and was deep in the playoffs the last 2 years as well. Oh, man. It's going to be, oh my gosh, it's going to be so great, dude. It's gonna be so I mean, there's just moments where, from an analysis standpoint, there's not much else to say than, "Yeah, man." It's just nice to get a win. I mean, this is an awesome day for the Detroit Pistons. One of the biggest moves probably the biggest move they made since trading for Blake Griffin, if you really think about it. From the size, and the totality of the move, I mean, that is a big move right there. He's getting paid $13 million a year, and he's earned every penny. I mean, that's what you got to do to go and secure one of the best coaches in the league, especially when he's thinking about taking a year off. That lottery, I'm good now. I mean, seriously, man, like you have to make your own luck in this league. And yes, the Pistons don't get Victor Wembanyama. You know what they're going to have? They're going to have a really well-coached team next year. They're going to have a lot of young talent that's going to be able to really take a next step. I mean, you talk about all the basketball minds in that building, dude. Arn Tellem, Troy Weaver, Monty Williams, John Beeline, Dwayne Casey. Ben Wallace is in the front office. You talk about, people were talking about, could Rashid potentially be an assistant coach? I mean, I would love that. But I mean, you talk about all the different things this opens up for this franchise, man. Just let me know, without a doubt, what you guys think in the comment section down below. I got to keep processing this. This is one of the best days for Detroit basketball in a long time. I mean, we're gonna look back at drafting Cade, drafting Ivy, and signing Monty Williams. Man, those are gonna be pinnacle moments for this franchise. I mean, guys, be sure you like this video. Be sure you're subscribed to the channel because we are going to be kicking up the content, especially with all the news and everything happening with the draft, happening with the coaching search. I mean, guys, Monty Williams is in Detroit. Thank you all so much for tuning in, being here. The over 200 of you that are in here. I mean, man, you asked a great question. How are we supposed to? We're not. We're not sleeping. We're simply not. We're about to be partying in the streets all night. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything coming. We'll catch you guys next time from Half Court. Be sure you're subscribed.